So, I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I feel like my life has always required there to be some sort of crisis, major or minor, that like prompts me to take a risk or a new direction. So, I left the UK in my 20s because everyone I lived with at the time, like housemate situation, they were going to Thailand and Cambodia and then doing their working visa in Australia, and I didn't have enough money to go pay for even a plane ticket that far. And then my boyfriend at the time broke up with me, and I was like, oh, fuck this, I'm not going to deal with it. So I was like, where have I been that I really like? And I moved to Poland when I was about 24. And I lived there for about a year, and I already knew some Polish because I lived amongst Polish people, and I knew a few words of Polish, whatever, and I was like, this makes sense. It wasn't quite the right fit for me at the time, so I moved around a little bit and then ended up in Croatia, which is basically where I've been ever since. And now I feel like I'm in a situation where I want to do something else, and there's obviously the UK left the European Union famously, so my choices aren't quite, or the path is not quite as clear or easy as it was at that time. But I need like a crisis to happen, but I obviously don't want a crisis to happen. Like, my job is boring, but I still have it, and I haven't managed to find a new one despite months, years of looking for new ones. And I'm not having any sort of relationship crisis. The only thing that could happen is that my residency permit doesn't get renewed when I go and try and do that on Tuesday. And then whatever, but I don't know where I would want to go, or I guess that's the benefit of the crisis, is that you have to make a quick decision without thinking, weighing up the pros and cons too much. I personally think that I would quite like to live in Montenegro because the language is the same as the one that I've already been, similar to the one that I've already been working it on for the past however many years, and it's a little bit cheaper than here, and the people are nice and whatever. But then you have to consider that, weigh that up against starting over again in your 30s, which is not necessarily the easiest, as I do have a social group here. So the other option is where I have social support, is going back to the UK, which is also an option, and not the worst option in the world, but I've lived away so long now that I'm I don't know, every time I go back to visit I think, oh, I don't know about this, it's not really where I feel most comfortable or at home or whatever. And I find it really hard to make that kind of decision without a prompt or an impetus to do so. And I just don't know how people do this, and really the decisions that they make. And obviously there's a lot of privilege in the fact that I do work location independently, and all the experience that living abroad has given me means that I can move to another country again, and really I sort of have a basis of what needs to happen, and all the different, renting an apartment and all of that kind of nonsense. And I could even move to, I don't know, Georgia or somewhere which has nice easy visas for UK citizens. It's the visas I struggle with, the permits and all that kind of thing. But I don't know how to do that without some sort of inciting crisis. And obviously the main one would be losing my job at this juncture, but then I couldn't do all of that anyway, so it's hard to know what kind of thing would prompt me to be able to make a big change. But I guess I've been seeing a lot of this online as well, we all kind of feel like we're stuck, there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do, we don't have as many hobbies as we used to or something, or people are feeling socially isolated, or they, I don't know, like, or they've just been laid off and they can't find a new job because of the economy, all of these kinds of things. And I think, oh, I just wish that one of my true wishes is that I could make life better for everybody, including myself. Like, just really be able to, like, make people feel safe and comfortable and, like, do all of this stuff. And obviously that's sort of the reason that I started doing this YouTube, with the idea of putting together more polished videos where I try new things or like push myself out of my comfort zone on my main channel, which I haven't yet done, but because these are easier and more fun to make, I guess. Less pressure, let's say. And I don't know, how do you start over without like an inciting crisis? Or is this existential crisis the crisis that I need? Where should I go? Like, what kind of videos should I make? Like, how do I have a hobby? Where do I get my any sort of like new creative ideas? Like, why have I stopped skateboarding? Why have I owned a guitar for 3 years and I've never picked it up? I've still got the paper around the strings because I wanted to learn guitar, so I bought a cheap one and it's still got the paper around the strings. Like, I've never even tuned it. I've never even taken the protection off of it. I don't know. Like, I don't know how I don't know what's missing, and I don't know how to fix it because there's nothing, like, I have no idea, and I don't know how other people are managing this, and whether there's any sort of like way that we can move forward where we all sort of feel a bit happier. And I think, oh, there's a sort of cottagecore thing where people like homesteading is probably the better way of putting it. That kind of appeals, and I kind of want to start like a dog rescue, which like Montenegro would be a good choice because there's like lots of there's stray dogs, but there's also like a big sort of, from what I saw when I was last there, like they're tagging their dogs and stuff, so there's like probably like mechanisms in place to like help with all of that kind of stuff. Or like, I just want to be like more in touch with who I am, but I have absolutely no idea who I am, and that feels bad, obviously, because that's the whole point of being human, is to like have some kind of at least an interest or a hobby, if not like a vocation or some other kind of way of putting your mark on the world, and I don't know what mine is. Why is there always booty in these, pet animal booty in these videos? Oh God, now this is going to make me look like I'm shaking. Maths. Buddy. There we go. Yeah, do you know what you want to do when you grow up? I don't think he does. But yeah, it's really hard to know kind of what comes next, you know? And like, I don't know, would I even be good at running a dog rescue? Because I've only ever rescued one before in my life, and that was quite some time ago. As you can see, he's a little bit of an old man. We're gonna live forever, so it doesn't matter. You are the number one. But you know, I think there's this desire to like give back a little bit more, build something that like brings people together. But I don't know how to start, or do people just start without realizing? Are people braver than me? Are they able to just like go for it when they have an idea? They just go for it, but they don't overthink things like I do. Like, how do I do this? What kind of permits do I need? What kind of structure? Where am I going to get the money? Do people just do it, or is it because I don't come from money that I'm like comparing myself to people who have money, or like some kind of like financial backing, or even like, I don't know, whatever. And I don't know what really is. Do you need a crisis to be your inciting moment to change your life? And if not, how do you know what direction you want to go in, you know? Don't look at my face. And I just, yeah, that's the rant for today, I guess. There's where do we go from here? What do I want to do? What do you want to do? What does anybody want to do with their lives? And is there any way of being more creative and more in touch with yourself? And how do you do that without being like pushed into it? What kind of crisis? Is there a crisis hotline? No, I don't know. Yeah, this is my rant for today. I guess like I'm feeling kind of lost in the milieu. Is that how you say that word? I'm lost in the sea of different people telling me like, blow up your YouTube in 8 days, or I skateboarded across America, or I did this, I did that. Does it need to be a massive thing, or does it need to be like a small thing? And how are other people doing this? Am I just like not inventive enough, or not brave enough? I don't know. That's it for today, I guess. This was supposed to be a short one, but I guess I can yap for hours. Yeah. No one's going to see it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, yeah. I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.